Hey, how you doing? I'm Bryan Majors, the owner of Major Preparation, where the motto is putting in major work for major results, and that pertains to all parts of life. So no matter whatever you're doing, you have to put in the work in order to get the results. I am also the proud owner of Bryan Majors LLC and Major Prep Apparel. But I'm here today to tell you guys about a phenomenal course that I was presented with and able to present to add value, influence, motivation, education, and inspiration to a group of students, student athletes, current and aspiring leaders to help them magnify their excellence. See, I was presented with an opportunity at Susquehanna University, where I'm a proud alumni of, from the class of 2010. And from there, I was the first African American to ever graduate from the elementary education department at that institution, which is a good pat on the back. But I was presented again with the opportunity to become an adjunct college professor and teach a entrepreneurial leadership course. But this course wasn't just like any regular entrepreneurial business class. This course was focused on the mind, the leadership, the character, and professional development of a current or aspiring leader. We had a phenomenal time teaching this course. We had a phenomenal time just going through this course. We were vulnerable, we were open, we were passionate. But what we did do was create clarity, mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, throughout all of our lives. And we created a blueprint for success. So take a look at the review from the students. I'm done talking about it. The impact, the value, the inspiration, education, motivation that came along with this. Whew, mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. So if you don't have this course, if you're not a part of this course, you need to be as soon as possible. I'm telling you, this is a life-changing. This is a life changer right here. But again, I'm done talking. Check out the video. Check out the students' reviews. As soon as you're done, make sure you click the link and order this course as soon as possible. And if you want this course to be a part of your university, which it needs to be, I promise you, let's get connected. Let's talk. Let's work it out. Let's make it happen. But you already know what it is. Stay focused, remain humble, and keep working. Keep working. Keep working. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Emily Pelletier. I'm a junior luxury brand marketing and management major at Susquehanna University, and this semester I had the privilege of taking a course called Entrepreneurial Leadership taught by Bryan Majors. This course is structured around his book that's called Training for Triumph. This book was truly inspirational, and it is filled with so much wisdom that will benefit people of all ages. One of my favorite aspects of Training for Triumph was the interactive elements that Bryan included. At the end of each chapter, Bryan challenges the reader to reflect on themselves and write down things such as their goals, their strengths and weaknesses, and experiences of adversity. These interactive exercises really helped me to analyze which areas of myself that I needed to work on more and invest more time into. One of the key things I took away from reading Training for Triumph was in regards to adversity. This book and course found me at the perfect time and when I needed it the most. 2020 was a challenging year for the majority of people, where we all faced many adversities, challenges, and losses. And the lessons this book taught me helped me to reprogram my mind and my perspectives in a more positive light. I realized that you can't appreciate the good things in life if you do not endure the bad and the challenging. While facing adversity is extremely hard and draining, the growth and the development that occurs in these experiences are monumental. Bryan taught me how to embrace adversity and tackle challenges head on rather than running from them and fearing them. Another thing that I loved about Training for Triumph was how Bryan emphasized that you are your own competition. So many of us go through life comparing ourselves to other people and trying to compete with others, when in reality, the best way to grow is to solely compete with ourselves. This book taught me that nobody can knock you off your square when you're standing in your own corner. If one invests the time into themselves and makes personal growth one of their main focuses, then you come out on the top, exuding confidence and in a position where outside forces cannot break you. Most of the time, I am the one standing in my own way, and this book really helped me to see that I'm capable of anything if I put my mind to it and I believe in myself and I trust my capabilities. I think my favorite thing this book taught me was how powerful the mind and a positive mental state is. If you go through life finding good in difficult situations and reprogram your mind in a positive manner, you'll live a much happier life. There were also so many things about this course that I genuinely loved and I have never experienced in any other college class that I've ever taken. First off, I really appreciated that this course was set on Mondays at 8 a.m. It was the perfect start to my week and it set my mind in a positive place. Starting my week off analyzing myself and my own goals made for a very productive week. It had me looking forward to every Monday morning session also. I love how this course challenged me to reflect on so many different aspects of myself. It was constructed in a way that made me analyze my emotional, my physical, and my mental and my spiritual bodies. Another aspect about this course that I loved was how open and raw it was. This course gave my classmates and I the chance to get to know and understand each other on a much deeper level. Hearing from my classmates and about their goals and their experiences helped me to reflect on myself. I personally grew as an individual by listening to each person open up about their experiences and the adversity they have faced and how they have overcome it. I love to see the different perspectives and experiences that everyone shared. And I would tell somebody that has never read Training for Triumph or took this leadership course that you definitely should. There are so many life lessons to learn, and I think this is a great place to start or always be open to acknowledge and hear. I loved my experience with Bryan Majors. I loved his book and his course. I would recommend it to anyone and everyone. You will not regret it. You will learn things about yourself while making deeper connections with other people.
Hello, my name is Patterson, and I am a part of Bryan Majors' Entrepreneurial Leadership class this semester. In that class, we read his book, Training for Triumph, which was honestly a great book. It was extremely inspirational, and I would say it's honestly good for any and all ages because it teaches principles that everybody should know. And honestly, not everybody knows the principles that are in this book. So it's definitely a must read. In the book, it starts off with, writing down goals, spiritually, family goals, and even personal goals. I believe writing goals is the foundation to, becoming who you want to be, because you got to know where you want to go or what you want to do. And, that's how Bryan starts off the book because he also knows, goals is honestly the foundation. He also talks about things like preparing to overcome adversity, preparing to, demolish your competition, how to get better day after day, and, preparing with purpose and passion, and, so much more. He talks about so many different ideas or things that can help you become the person you want to be and help you grow, day after day. I would definitely say this book was, perfect, and it came at the right time when I needed it, and needed some of the principles in the book. I loved how interactive the book was. I loved being able to write, down any goals I had, personally, and then my own experiences and any other ideas I had while reading. It really allows us to just be, to really reflect off of what we read through our own experiences and what we face. So it's not so much just about him and his experiences and, why he wrote the book, but, also about us and our own personal development and just growing, as a person. On top of all that, I loved having the class, especially because it was Monday morning. It's a great start to the week. Just talking about these principles that are so important, really getting to learn from him, getting to learn experiences, that are in the book and, some that weren't in the book, and just getting to hear what he has to say and getting his feedback on what we think and, what we wrote in our assignments. It was also really great to just be able to connect with other students. It was like an atmosphere where we could all just speak and say what we felt, and it was honestly great to just get to share um, experiences with other students, and also hear other students' experiences, because you never know what somebody else is going through until you actually hear it. So it was great to hear other people going through the same stuff, and just realizing the same stuff as you, and just learning and growing with other people um, through that time. So it was honestly a great experience altogether. I loved the book. I loved having the class, um, and it was definitely great. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Grace Hernandez, and I'm from Middletown, Pennsylvania. I'm a junior here at Susquehanna University studying early childhood education with a minor in entrepreneurship. So I met Bryan Major a little over a year ago as a guest judge here at an event called the House of Hawks. And I remember listening to him speak and feeling inspired. Not only because I grew up down the street from him, or because I'm earning the same degree from him at the same university, but because he devotes his life to motivating others to reach their goals. The problem isn't that people don't have goals. Everyone has goals. But we often face many adversities that can discourage us. And so this book here goes over how to overcome those challenges. And so I'm going to share 3 ways I have implemented this book into my everyday life. So one is that this book has prompts after each chapter, and so the book allows us to dive deep and interact with each chapter by answering those prompts. The prompts involve learning how to have a goal-oriented lifestyle, the importance of staying true to yourself during the journey, and surrounding yourself with people who support you. Number 3 is that this book inspired me during one of the hardest times in my life. And I read this book about a year ago, and now I'm rereading it. And during that time when I first started, I was in such a dark place. And Bryan Majors, this book, he shares personal stories. And he has been through so much in his life that has made him the man that he is today. And I just felt so inspired. Number 3 is to accept failure as a learning opportunity. God is always on our side. And sometimes we have to be patient when we feel like everything is going wrong. And so the course that Bryan Major teaches here at Susquehanna is a requirement for entrepreneurship, but it's so much more than entrepreneurship. To be an entrepreneur, you have to have the mindset discussed in this book. I have loved this course because it's almost like a group therapy session, going over the book each week on a Monday morning, you're kind of reflecting the whole week on what your peers have just shared with you. I have been motivated by my peers, and I have gained a new perspective. We have all been through adversities in life, and being vulnerable with each other each week is such a huge thing. And we're basically learning from our background to build a future. And so it's important to seek those opportunities, to seek greatness, and to reflect and learn from our mistakes. And so this book right here is one of those books that you can reread whenever you need motivation or feel lost. And I'll probably read the book again next year and continue each year after that.
Alrighty, my name is Zach Rosigno. I'm from Long Valley, New Jersey. I attend Susquehanna University studying management and entrepreneurship as a minor. And when talking about the Training for Triumph book, as someone who comes from really a deep background of faith, my father's a minister, I really appreciate the emphasis and importance that Bryan puts on God here in the text. It really hits home for a lot of people, and definitely for me. And also throughout the book, his stressing of adversity. Adversity is something that many of us are afraid of or whatnot, but it really builds character. And although It's often temporary pain with adversity that goes along with it. That's what you really learn from. And it turns into a permanent life lesson that we can all learn from and really apply to our future endeavors. Adversity is all around us. We face it almost every day. And it's really, I think it's important, a key takeaway and an overall theme that we find throughout the book. Another key concept I really appreciate from the book was that the only thing stopping you from your dreams is you. And I think that's a really powerful statement because you have the power to do anything and everything. Becoming your own biggest competition is really key because each day you'll want to better yourself. For me, it's easy to look in the mirror, give up and tell yourself that you're not able to do something. For me, let's say, I'm a senior here and I'm really starting my job hunt um, out of school here, and it's easy, get discouraged from not getting a position you wanted or whatnot. And my favorite quote really throughout this whole overarching theme of the only thing stopping you from you is um, the only thing stopping your dreams is you. And the quote is, when you are in love with your purpose and passion, you will learn to separate yourself from losers and the negative energy in your life, taking those people out of your life that say you can't do this, you can't do that. I think that's definitely key in becoming your biggest competition. And then in regards to the course, what I really loved about the course was the hands-on participation part about it. I've never had a class that has been so hands-on. Everyone shares every class. It's a theme that everyone shares how they're feeling. There's a real big personal aspect to it. I don't have any professors that ask me, how's your week going? How are you feeling? And you go around the room and figure out how everyone's doing. That's the personal aspect is really, I think, a positive to it. And it's a class that's not really it's based off of a book, but it's not based off of a textbook feeling. So you're not studying definitions here. The hands-on learning is something that really helps me, sharing our thoughts. There's no wrong answers here. And in regards to what I would tell someone who has never read this book, once you start reading it, do what, like we did in the class, write yourself a summary of every chapter, some key takeaways, and put it all together in the end, because it really does turn into a cheat sheet for life. And I think that's really important. This isn't the first time I'm going to read this book, so I think doing that is definitely helpful.
Hi, I'm Caroline King. I am from Rhode Island, but I attend Susquehanna University. I'm currently a senior studying business management, and I just finished up a course with Bryan Majors called Entrepreneurial Leadership. In this course, we read a book called Training for Triumph, and honestly, this book has helped me shift my perspective in ways that I had not even considered to be a reality for myself. So I want to share 4 things that I learned from this book. First of all, it's remembering that our commitment is what gets us where we want to go. We have to work on our work. We have to fight every single day to reach our goals and to better ourselves. Next, we have to stop comparing ourselves to others. We live in a world where it's easy to scroll through Instagram and see, look at what somebody else is doing. But that's not what it's about. We all have a different passion. We all have a different purpose, and our goals are different. But it's really important that we don't isolate ourselves in this. We need to surround ourselves with people who are going to push us toward those goals that we're striving for. Third of all, I want to share a quote from the book. It says, "You win or you learn." I think that is probably my favorite from the whole book, because that is what allows us to take our setback and turn it into an opportunity. That's that perspective shift that I was talking about. We can't say you win or you fail, because that opportunity to learn comes with everything you might view as a setback. It shows you how to be better in the future. Next, reading this book has taught me the connection of our attitude to our success. Our attitude is what will make or break us. By being positive and viewing the positive in our lives, we can have a better attitude than others around us. Not dwelling on the negative, I think, is one of the biggest things that we talked about in this course, because any adversity that we overcome, that's a positive. it goes back to what I said before about you win or you learn, right? If you look at something and all you can see is the negative, you're not learning anything that's going to help you in the future. So a couple things about this course that really make it different than another college class that I've taken is the collaboration that we had. In this class, we go deeper with our peers than in any other course. And maybe it's because it's about us personally, but we had this opportunity to all be in the same phase of life, but bring in all these different perspectives. And I think that was really valuable. Bryan Majors did a great job making us feel like a sort of team. Also, the supportive atmosphere that he provided, I think was awesome. It was the minute we shared a goal or a dream, he was thinking, he was processing, and he was giving us advice and steps to take to make our goals bigger than we had even imagined. And so this allowed me on a personal level to have greater accountability, to put in work to achieve my goals, because the minute that you speak something, it becomes reality. And the minute that you have someone on your team, you can feel encouraged to do more than you would have done on your own. And last of all, something about this course that I really liked is that we had it right at the start of the week. It kind of pushed us forth to work in our weeks, and that made a big difference. While our discussions each week were a little bit different, no matter what we talked about, we left feeling more motivated than we came in. And I think that is something that defines this course, this class, and this book of Training for Triumph. So if you've never taken a course like this, and if you've never read a book like this, why haven't you? Because I'm telling you, it's going to push you forward. It's going to help you in some sort of way. It's going to allow you to overcome discouragement, adversity, and challenges. And it's going to allow you to dream bigger than you've ever dreamed before.
Hi, my name is Madison Lane. I'm from Havertown, Pennsylvania, and I study marketing at Susquehanna University. The Training for Triumph book has been and always will be a book that will inspire me to continue making goals for myself. I truly loved reading this book because it reminded me to always have ambitions in life and to always have a purpose to those ambitions. Also, this book has taught me a lot about adversity. Everyone struggles with adversity through their lives, but making sure to remind yourself that you are a strong person and you can get through any obstacle. Pushing yourself through adversity is what makes us all stronger people. One quote from this book that will always stick with me is, "When life gets hard, realize that the pain is not here to stay, but just to pass, and your reward for overcoming the pain will be beyond measure." This quote is so important for me, and I think for others to remember, because there are going to be tough times in your life, and being able to stay true to yourself and your goals is what's going to help you come over that adversity. Another thing that I loved about this book was being able to actually write in the book after each chapter. This allowed me to reflect on the chapter and actually sit down and process what I just read. For me, writing out my goals, motivations, and routines allowed me to write these specific things into existence. And then once you start writing things into existence, you start to speak it into existence. So for this entrepreneurial leadership course, it was absolutely nothing like I thought it would be, and it turned out to be the most thoughtful, encouraging, and open-minded class that I've ever been in. Being able to read Bryan Majors' book, Training for Triumph, has been an amazing opportunity. The one thing I absolutely loved about this class was how open my classmates were with each other. It truly made this class because I learned everyone's perspective on the different chapters, and I also got to hear their struggles, but also how they overcame those struggles, which makes them all such strong people. So in this video, I wanted to thank my classmates for being so open to people they hardly even knew, because it truly made this class so much more real and empowering. This course also allowed me to get out of my comfort zone, whether that was on paper or speaking to my classmates. And then the last thing that I loved about this course was the class size. I think if the class was any bigger, it might have been a little bit more intimidating to share my personal feelings with so many people. But for this course, the class size was perfect. I always felt like I was safe to speak my mind without any judgment. it was always a safe zone for this class. If I were to tell someone about this course, I would tell them to absolutely take it. It's such a unique course that will teach you so many life lessons, and that goes for the book as well. I believe that every student should take a course like this one. For me, this book will always be in my life, and I plan to reread it multiple times throughout my journey. So because of that, I would like to thank Bryan Majors for not only inspiring me in so many ways, but also believing in me.
The entrepreneurial leadership class really provided me with so much guidance on how to fully thrive in my own life and become the best version of myself. I learned that you really need to prioritize yourself in order to become successful, because in the end, you're the only one who's really in charge of your own future. I was really able to open up in this class about some of my own personal struggles and setbacks in my life, and I was able to receive so much support from my classmates and from Bryan Majors as well. And it taught me that I've grown so much from the experience, and I've been able to continue to push forward and be stronger because of it. And if I never was able to experience those setbacks, I wouldn't be where I am today. It also taught me that no goal is too big. Even if you don't end up achieving that goal in life, it's the journey that makes you who you are, and that is overall the reward. So you may not even obtain your main goal in life, but you might end up with something even better and not even realize it until you realize that, oh, I didn't get this goal, but I was able to get other experiences from my journey. Bryan Majors put in so much work into this class, and we all were able to benefit from it so much. And everybody really needs somebody like Bryan in their life to show them that someone does believe in them and that they do matter and they can do whatever they put their mind to.
I'm Riley Edmonds. I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I am a senior at Susquehanna University. I just concluded the course Entrepreneurial Leadership, where we read the book Training for Triumph. This book had such a huge impact on me. It was really inspiring working through this book and reading through Bryan Majors' story and his perspective on things, and having the ability then to reflect it onto my personal life through the working sections at the end of each chapter. I loved that at the conclusion of the book, you basically had created this life plan through the various goal settings and questions that push you to shift your mindset and establish your ultimate life path. But not only does it do this, it also pushes you to determine your purpose and why you're waking up each day and persevering to reach those goals that you have written down through working in this book. Another impactful message that will really stick with me is the need to embrace adversity. Adversity is an opportunity, not a setback. Adversity allows you to prosper, and without it, I'm not sure how we would learn or grow to ultimately reach our goals. And I loved that the book is fitting to absolutely anybody at any point in their life. I'm really eager to reread it down the road and see how my perspective has shifted and how I've grown through my goals. And I appreciate how it forces you to really think on these things and reflect. As for the course, I think it was structured perfectly. The course was honestly the best, most impactful course I have taken in my 4 years at Susquehanna. In the beginning, I was kind of nervous. I wasn't sure how it was going to work, especially being that it was such a personalized course in a sense. And I held back a little bit, as I'm not one to typically share my thoughts, feelings, or emotions. But this course really created a safe zone for me and the other students in it to express ourselves. Every single class, we started out sharing how our week was. And while this might seem like a really simple, unimportant thing, I think it really set the tone for the class in many ways, and I loved that. I've never had another class that did that, and I think it really changed my perspective on how the course was going to work. I also love that we were pushed to share our reflection on each section of the book. It wasn't just who wants to share and then we wait for someone to speak up. We really went through each and every person and listened to what every individual took away from the reading, which also had a large impact on my perspective as well, hearing their different stories and times that they faced adversity. I think that was really important because I can tell you 100% that if we weren't really pushed to do that, I probably would not have spoken up and stepped out of my comfort zone. But I realized that if I just idle in my comfort zone, I will never grow or reach my dreams. And growth really begins at the end of our comfort zone. And this course really gave me the courage to step out of mine. So lastly, this course has allowed me to learn in so many aspects. I've applied, like I said, not only things to my personal life from reading the book and hearing Bryan Majors' story, but also from taking the time each class to listen to what my classmates have to share and what parts they have taken away from the reading has also made such a huge impact on me in itself. So for someone who has never read Training for Triumph or took this course, I would say do it, 100% do it. It doesn't matter who you are and where you are in life. This book will have such an impact on you in your own unique way. The book and the course is truly inspiring and motivating. And at the end, you will have a new perspective, a clear mind, and a blueprint to your daily and future goals.
Hi, so my name's Kayla. I'm a junior luxury brand marketing major with a minor in entrepreneurship. And after reading Training for Triumph, I feel a lot more confident, and I don't really know what I expected from this course, but it wasn't this. I remember when Bryan Majors kept texting us and asking us to purchase his book, I was like, this course is going to be so boring. All we're going to do is read this book. But honestly, this book was so inspiring, and it really just emphasizes what you should do and like kind of like a little tutorial on how to do life. It's kind of crazy to think 7 weeks have already gone by because I feel like we just started this course. But I just feel like I have a better grasp on what I want to do next and what steps I need to take next in order to get better in life and just succeed. So one of the biggest takeaways for me was that everybody's going to go through adversity. And in the beginning of this course, we started at the end of January. It was just over a month. I lost my friend. She died in a car accident on Christmas Eve. And it's something that I think about every day to this day. But it's also something that I've never really had to deal with before. And it really was, like, it's still very challenging for me. But I feel like it's really important to keep in mind that everybody is going to go through adversity and we're all different and we all react differently. And I noticed when I was going through this, in the beginning, I would be like, well, I'm really sad, but so-and-so is more sad than me, so I shouldn't be sad. But in reality, it doesn't matter if somebody's more sad than me or if somebody's less sad than me because we're all sad. And I feel like we just really need to keep in mind that everybody reacts differently. And we need to keep in mind that nobody is ever going to wholeheartedly understand what you're going through except for you. So you should be aware of those feelings. And I also really think focusing on yourself is important. And that's something I took away from this book that I didn't expect to take away from this book. You really do just need to focus on yourself in order to succeed. And I feel like a lot of the time people associate like putting yourself first as something that's selfish. And I don't think it's selfish all of the time. I feel like there are certain circumstances where it could be, but you need to have the right mentality and you need to be in the right place. And in order to do that, you have to put yourself first. And like I said before, you have to be aware of your feelings and like you have to recognize why you feel that like a certain way about something, because overall it's just really important in being happy and successful throughout your life. And I'm really glad I took this class. I think the message overall of this book is amazing, and I think it really does help people when they're going through hard times. It's interesting to see how everybody reacts to different things, and it's interesting to see how differently like we all live our lives and how different like all of our backgrounds are, but that's like what makes us us. But overall, like I am really happy that I took this course, and I'm also very happy that it was first thing on a Monday morning because it got us like a great start to the week, and I'm very grateful for that.
Hi, my name is Erin McCabe, and I'm a senior marketing major with a Women and Gender Studies minor at Susquehanna University, and I'm originally from Hanover, PA. I really enjoyed the conversational nature of this book. It was interactive and allowed me to take the advice and apply it to myself. It didn't feel like you were just talking at me. It felt like you were using your experience to help me work through mine. This book was motivating and helped me to reaffirm that my anxiety is just an adversity to overcome and that it does not need to lead my life. It's an opportunity to improve myself. I really appreciated the reflection part of this book since it allowed me to delve into my history and realize just how much I've grown. I've even achieved a few of the goals that I set out in my Triumph plan already. My biggest takeaway from this book is that adversity is an opportunity and not the end of the world. Sometimes it's too easy to focus on the negativity around us and to just buy into it, but I don't want to get complacent, and I most certainly do not want to focus on just the negativity. There are tons of reasons to be happy and grateful, and I think that this book was a really great reminder of that. I also really enjoyed just how much perspective this book brings in addition to the class. I learned more about Brian's history than I've ever known about a professor at SU. It wasn't like a guided tour where he just kind of gave us the directions. He's on the tour with us and he's going through his own journey as well, and he's very open with discussing it. I think it brings a whole new level to the class because although he's the professor, he's involved on our level and he's transparent about his experiences. I really love the structure of this course. Zoom fatigue is a very real thing, and I know I won't be the only student feeling this way. This course was so conversational, though, that it didn't feel like just another Zoom meeting. It honestly felt like a nice break where I could listen to and learn from those around me. I thought that I was a little crazy signing up for an 8 a.m. on Mondays, especially in my last semester, but I'm really glad that I did. This class was engaging, provided many opportunities for me to share my experiences, and allowed me to learn from and grow with the other students in class. We built a little community out of these 2 hours that we spent together every week, and it's my favorite class for this semester. I really loved hearing from everyone else's perspectives and sharing in their highs and lows for the week. It was a great way to get to know everyone, which in this Zoom university era is virtually non-existent. Spending time each week to talk about how things were going in our personal lives really built up the sense of community within this class. My favorite example of how personal this class is that one of the students had an Etsy store, and Brian took the time to search it up, share his screen with all of us, and go through her store and show us, like, oh, look at these cool products. And then he also bought something from her to support her business. His attention to detail and ability to foster personal connections is so strong, and I think that's what made this course as fun and engaging as it was. I would tell someone who hasn't read this book or taken this course to do it. Sign up for the 8 a.m. on Monday and just be present. Read the book and reflect on yourself and focus on the growth that you've had, but also make a plan for your future growth. This book made me consider my future in a completely different light that I never before considered. By the end of the book, I had a 7-page Triumph plan that really helped me define my direction, and I had an A to Z list of backup plans. This course is an opportunity to learn and grow with a professor who will remember the personal details, who will support you in your journey, and who will help you plan for yourself and meet and exceed your goals. If you're a student considering this or just anyone looking for a new book to read, I recommend reading this book and I recommend taking this course. Thank you, Bryan Majors and my classmates, for a phenomenal 7 weeks of reflection and growth.